Let's send this shit out here. Let me throw up the fucking. Let's do this one instead. Yup. Hello, everybody. Uh-oh. Get ready to lose. Are you not speaking?
Luzin's my middle name.
Oh,
I'm sorry. No, Luzin is my middle name, man.
Eric Losing Ogar.
Yeah,
That's
something like
so,
that.
like, Elo. Elo is him? You're Elohim? That can't be right.
Elo, like a reference to how bad my Elo is at chess.
I don't know. You know who I am. I don't need to explain shit. You pissed me off. You pissed me and the others off. This is your last lift. What? I don't know who that is.
Nope.
Well, it sounds like he's gonna maybe like report the live or something, so let's just block that account. Be on the safe side. Yeah, anyway. Hey, Godless Pianist, thanks for the heart me so early on. God is love, Satan obviously loses, and what if you're wrong? I like music though. Well, at least you like the music though. Yeah, I mean, if God is love, I don't really know what that means, like meaningfully. Like, it just seems like a cliche. I don't think it has any much weight. Hey, Lincoln, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 19.
Okay, what God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Alright, well, which prompt do you want to engage with tonight?
So, like, how you said Satan is better, but neither are real.
Yes.
So, how would Satan be better than God if neither of them exist?
Well, personally, I think that Pikachu is better than Pichu, the baby version of Pikachu. But obviously those aren't real. Like things, they're Pokemon. But one of them's still better than the other one.
So there's no reason that Satan is better. He just is in your eyes.
Oh no, there's reasons. Like when I read the book, it's a book filled with God doing a whole bunch of what I would consider to be evil, like really fucked up
Wait,
shit.
the book, as in the Bible?
Correct, yeah, the Bible. Yeah, I read, and it's got tales of God doing genocide and commanding genocide and using rape as punishment and using cannibalism as punishment. And I'm just like, only like the most evil, like person in the world could do all this stuff. And then Satan is like, I look at his track record and it's like he killed a few people when God like told him to, and that was about it. He didn't really do anything else except like tempt people sometimes. Well, tempt Jesus, but then God can't be tempted according to the Bible. So it's really confusing on that front, but Satan doesn't really do a whole lot.
Okay.
God's got a low bar. It's really easy to be better than God.
Oh, okay. So you'd say you're better than God.
Well, yeah, I think that all of us here are better than God for sure. I mean, how many genocides have you done? I haven't done even one of them. It's not even on my bucket list.
I'm still on 0, yeah, and I'm actually not even mad about that.
I'm not too worked up about it. You only live once, and it's like you can only do but so many gens. Like I can't get anywhere close to the high score. Why bother? That's obviously not my reasons. Like I don't think that it's right to do even one of them. One is too many.
Okay. I'm leaving. This is bad. It's embarrassing, honestly.
Well, you're embarrassed?
No, I'm embarrassed for you.
Well, because I said I don't think that genocide's a good thing. What did I say that I should be embarrassed about?
I'm leaving.
Good night. Yeah, I don't think that. So all I really said was God does genocides and I don't. So therefore he's better than Satan who doesn't do any genocides. And he's like, wow, that's embarrassing.
I think leaving was probably the right call.
What is up, man? How you been?
Happy trails to that, fella. My goodness. Everything's going good, I guess, now. I mean, I've got over a little hump in life, and now I'm just trying to get, back to where I was.
Well, good. I'm glad that you're over the hump. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, so I was engaging in a morality debate on Godwin's page the other day, and one of these issues that always comes up when you're debating the morality is, comes from God, that kind of thing or whatever. So here's my question, because this is actually a real genuine question that I've thought about. The people in my life that raised me to believe in God, that believe in Jesus and all that other stuff, I do not see them as evil. But by the worshiping of an evil being, would that not make them ipso facto, it's at some level evil?
I think on some level, but I think that their intention has a lot to do with it, at least in my opinion. Ogar might have a different opinion. But I think that your intention has a lot to do with whether or not you're evil. But it just kind of depends on how you qualify it. Like, is it doing something that is bad, or is it like doing it doing it on purpose, or doing it for like the wrong reasons? So I think that it just depends on what you would consider to be evil. But Ogar would probably have a more strict like definition here.
No, I think that there's a bad thing in what they're doing, in my opinion, but it's a pretty small bad thing in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're actually, like, in most cases, they're not actively, impeding on other people's lives or things like that, right? I think that there's, like, the small bad of, like, contributing to a system that promotes things that are bad ultimately, but it doesn't. I don't think that they owe. They're not like morally responsible for the things that the thing they believe in has done.
So I kind of attribute this a little bit to my own personal religious trauma, I guess, and call it religious trauma, but it might not be as bad as trauma. But and the fact that when I look back at myself and who I was in those days, I believed myself to be genuinely good-hearted, loving, caring, whatever, and I still hold, that kind of feeling in myself that I'm good-hearted. But because I feel like I'm a good-hearted person, I look back at that time as well with a lot, and I do mean a lot, of guilt. Because I did lead people to church, I did bring people to church, and I feel like maybe I've ruined some lives, not just contributing to the system, but got other people involved in it, and I feel guilty for it.
I was thinking about this for myself just earlier today. I was on my way to work and I was having a similar thought, thinking like, wow, like past me was kind of a piece of shit, but then I thought like, past me didn't know any better and was kind of like doomed to be that way. Like I was set up to do those things and to think those things and believe the things that I did. But also, me going through living life like that is what ultimately led me to become the person I am today, which I wouldn't have become otherwise. So I don't think it really matters to get too worked up on the past and feel tons and tons of guilt for something that's just not your fault. I think that it's something that's important to learn from, but beyond that, I don't think that you should dwell on it too much.
You just actually reminded me of a phrase that I read once that actually fits this pretty well. It's I guess a piece of advice. It says, the bulk of who you are is who you are not anymore.
Ooh, that's really fun.
Yeah.
I like that. The book of
Yeah.
who you are is who you're not anymore. Well, did you have anything else, Amos?
No, that was all I had to say.
Well, it's good to hear from you, man. I'm glad that you're doing good. That you're over the hump and everything. So
Yeah.
thanks for being here, man, and thanks for like asking that. I feel like we need to connect more often.
Yeah, and I'll come up here and live with you sometime. I just don't have a lot of time right now. I'm actually about to go to bed, but I'll be happy to
It's all good, man.
come back whenever I get a chance. But
Yeah, you have a good
thanks.
night.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. I think I've known him for maybe about a year. We got Johnny Fitness coming up. The Johnny Fitness? Hey, Johnny Fitness, are you at least
Yes, sir. Excuse me?
Are you at least 18?
Yes, I am. Over.
Okay. What God do you believe in?
I believe in the only living God, Jesus Christ.
Okay. So which prompt would you like to engage with tonight, Johnny Fitness?
Okay, so you're saying that God is evil? You believe that God is evil?
Yeah, like your God, I believe, is evil.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What do you have in your life? If you don't have God and God is evil, what do you have in your life to turn to when things go against the grain, which they will in everybody's life? What do you have to rely on? Just yourself?
Wait, is this gonna like rebut that God is evil?
I'm just going by what you say on the screen, that God is evil.
Yeah, but what does me having something to turn to or not have anything to do with God being evil?
It has a lot to do. It has a lot to do with somebody that doesn't have God in their life.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have some stuff like my family, my hobbies, my own thoughts.
You
I'm
have
actually
the
my
flesh.
own
You have the
best friend.
flesh. You have the carnal. You have the flesh.
I like to engage with my own sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have yourself.
It's natural.
That's all you have.
It's natural.
You won't.
Yeah. That's
That's living in the.
I
Yeah,
can't apologize for
you have nothing but the.
for,
You
like,
have
being
nothing
what
but the
I am.
flesh.
I mean, if
Okay.
God created me, in the way that I am, then Krutnackers just followed. That's a fun name. If God created me the way that I am, with the instincts that I have and the opinions that I hold, and the way that I want to engage as a human being, then by indulging in the way that He created me, I don't see any harm in that.
us to have flesh, he shouldn't have given it to us. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I
The-
believe
the
your God
way-
is evil, and I mean, I can give you examples of why, or unless you want to just refute it by telling me how God's good or how he's not evil or something. Because talk about my
Yeah.
personal life is not going to really do anything.
Well, all I can say is God gave everyone free will to believe whatever you want to believe. But without God, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for you if you don't have God in your life.
Well, that isn't true though. Not the second part, but the first part where you said that God gave us free will to choose to believe whatever we want. God didn't
Of
give us
course he
free
did.
will. God didn't
Of
give us
course he
free.
did.
God did not give us free will. One, because he isn't real. Two, free will is not real. And three, you cannot choose what you believe. Even if free will did exist, you cannot choose what you believe. So there's a whole bunch of problems with the first thing that you said.
No, because that's your personal opinion and it's not true.
It's not an opinion.
It's true to
This-
you.
These are
It's
the
not
facts.
true to me.
These are
Not
the
true to
facts,
me.
Johnny Fitness.
No, those aren't the facts. No,
Well,
they're not.
tell me
No,
where
they're
I'm
not.
wrong in what I've said, because I can expound on it if you want me to, like elaborate as to why I would say
So,
these
so
things.
you're basically 100% atheist. correct?
Basically, yeah, basically.
Yeah, you don't believe that there's a God that created you and everything around us. You don't. Basically, what you're saying is God, Jesus, the Bible is a lie. It's all make believe. It's basically what you're saying, correct?
Basically, but generally, like not with what I just said. Like I said, God's not real, sure, but I also said the free will is not a thing that can be given because it doesn't exist, and then I said that you can't choose your beliefs. So I did say a bunch of things, but what part of that do you want to go with the God's not real thing? Because that's a whole different problem.
Free will does exist. I'm talking to you right now. That proves it right now. You have free will, and I do.
No, what do you think free will is?
To make a decision about anything, you have the decision to make whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God. You have the decision which you want to pick up an AK-47 and go and kill people.
Johnny,
You have the decision.
I mean, obviously,
you have the free
I'm
will.
aware. Obviously, I'm aware that I'm able to make decisions, but I still would say that I don't have free will. Why do you think I would say something like that if I'm well aware that I can make decisions? Hey, thanks, Nerd Unleashed, for the snail. I appreciate you.
That's your free will.
Okay, so free will.
That's
Like
your free
libertarian
will.
free will. I'm just gonna explain. So Johnny Fitness, libertarian free will is a will that one has that is unbridled by any other factors other than the will and gives you the capacity to have done otherwise in any given scenario. That's what libertarian free will is, and that does not exist.
Well, I disagree. It's your opinion. God gave Lucifer, which you don't believe in either, Satan. God wouldn't be God unless he gave free will.
Johnny, I kind of need you to like be able to track, because this is kind of a pivot talking about how he gave Satan or how he gave Lucifer free will. Do you understand what I said about libertarian free will?
I guess when you say libertarian free will, explain that again. Libertarian free will. What is the difference between free will and libertarian free will?
Libertarian free
What
will
is
is what
the
people are
difference now?
usually taught. Yeah, libertarian free will is what people are usually referring to in philosophy when free will is posited. This is what people usually are talking about. Free will is just a little bit more vague, is all. Like you have a pragmatic free will, or you could have a different kind. But libertarian free will is usually what people mean when they say free will while they're talking philosophy, and it's the capacity to have done otherwise in a given scenario. It's an unbridled will. Like your will is the sole determinant of an action.
Okay, so let's get back to you decide you're going to pick up a gun and go and shoot people just randomly. That isn't free will.
Well, if it's random, I'm
What-
not
what
in
is that?
control of that which is random. So no, that wouldn't
That's
be
free will to decide that
No,
you
you
want
said
to
it was
go
random.
do away with.
You said that I did it randomly. That means I didn't decide to do it. Like it was based on something that was random.
Of course, if you pick up a gun and decide to go shoot people, You decided you want to do that. That's
It might
your
have-
will. That's your free will.
It might have been my will. It wouldn't have been my free will. You said it was based on randomness.
Now, it's your free will to do that. You have the freedom
If I come
to
to a
do
conclusion
whatever you want to
randomly-
do.
If I come to a conclusion,
God's not going to stop you.
Johnny, if I come to a conclusion randomly, am I really in control of that conclusion?
You're in control of whatever you want to do. It's called free will. Simple and basic.
All right, Johnny,
Okay.
I can't do it anymore.
Simple
man. You're
and
not getting
basic.
it. You can take your simple, basic ass up here on Monday or Tuesday or whatever. Maybe we'll try again.
Maybe
like-
maybe if he just asserts it more, it'll become more true.
Just say it a few more times. He's probably still saying it. Bring up. Let's bring up Shane. Hi, Shane. Are you the? Oh, that's a good one. Good belch.
Hey, how you doing,
You're
man?
making me want beer now. Oh fuck. All right, are you at least 18?
Yes.
What God do you believe in, Shane?
Jesus Christ.
Okay. What prompt do you want to engage with?
What? I just want to agree with the last gentleman you kicked off. He was right.
Okay, so explain to me how I'm incorrect about libertarian free will not existing.
No, I'm saying about if you pick up a gun and go into Walmart and start shooting people, just like if you go to Walmart and pick up a TV and get to the register and decide you don't want to buy it, that's your free will.
Yeah, right, but like claiming that it's free will doesn't demonstrate that it is actually free will. Can you explain how it is my own will that is absent of any
No.
other factors or priors?
Okay, let me go back. You have the free choice. Your will is what you decide to do at the end, but the choice to buy the TV or not is yours.
Yeah, like sure. I mean, I do like loosely believe in free choice, just not free will. Like we have options. We don't know what we're going to pick, and we have this experience of selecting an option. But I think that it is deterministic. I think that based on our priors, we're guaranteed to pick what we were always going to pick, and that negates.
Do you believe that? So, do you believe that the word willpower is just something that's made up?
No, I don't think so. I just don't think that it means the same thing in this context. What were you trying to say, Ogar?
Well, what I was going to say is like when you are in Walmart and you're thinking about what am I going to do during this visit to Walmart? Am I going to, be violent, or am I going to pick up a TV, or maybe I need to get cat litter? Like you're not just making those decisions like out of nowhere. Those decisions are based on your past experiences. They're based on what is going on in that day, what things you need. They're based on all this other information, this background information that tells you who you are, what your life is like, what things are your priorities right now. Like, so it's not like you're acting like free will is this thing where like there's no explanation for it. But the thing I think that Lobes and I agree on is that there are explanations for it. There are explanations we know. Like when I'm standing in Walmart looking at the movies and trying to pick what movie I like or want to buy, I know what I want from a movie. And so there's a lot of other things I consider when making that decision. And there are factors that I don't know about. There are things happening in my brain and my body and all around me that I don't consciously notice, but still impact that decision. So like, yeah, it's not this completely unexplainable thing where like a whole new decision is made and could have been completely different. It's just a domino falling because the previous dominoes hit it.
Right.
Well, I agree. I agree with that, but of course, if you're at home before you even go to Walmart, if you don't have a cat, once you get to Walmart, you're not going to be thinking about kitty litter. If you're at home
Exactly.
and your
That's what I'm
house
saying,
smells
though.
like cat, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hold on, and your house smells like cat urine, then your will before you even leave the house, your will is to go to Walmart and buy kitty litter. So when you get to Walmart, you might go to the pet aisle and you might have to make a choice. Depending on the price, depending on your budget, depending on how many cats you have, but your will was still to go to Walmart and get kitty litter.
Right. So, have you ever heard this quote? You can do whatever you will to do, but you cannot will what you will. Have you ever heard that quote before?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, you can't like you do whatever you want to do, but you don't get to decide what it is you want. Like you have priors that make that the case. Like your priors decide your wants for you, and once you have a strongest want, that is what you will do if possible. Period.
But your choices and decisions in your past, all I'm saying is this. I agree with you that everything in your life that has happened up until today it determines tomorrow. But choices that you have made in the past also, you know what I'm saying, come into play to what's going to happen to you in tomorrow. When, like he said, when you
Yeah.
go to look at the movies,
It's just
whether
cause and
you grew
effect.
up in the hood, you might want to watch. You might want to watch Friday. If you grew up in the suburbs, you might not want to watch a movie like Friday. So choices that you made, people you hung out with in your past, but so you still had the free choice in the past, which has led up to now your present.
It's just
No, because
right.
that past.
It's just not. It's just not free will. And yeah, like what? Sorry, Ogre. You were starting to say something.
Well, I was just going to say that past decision that you made that is impacting your decision today. Well, there was a yesterday before that where you made the decision that led to that past decision that you're talking about, and then that decision that led to that decision had another decision before it, and then before you even were able to make any decisions, other people around you were making decisions, and events were happening that impacted how things were when you even started being able to make decisions, and so like it all just keeps going back and like is caused by the things before it.
It's just a causal
There's no
chain.
point.
Okay,
Yeah, and either
Yeah,
here's
there's
a
no-
I think-
dichotomy. Here's something that I heard recently that I think is pretty good. So, it's a true dichotomy. Either the universe is deterministic or indeterministic. Now, if the universe is deterministic, then the causal chain is just going to follow, and there is no free will. Like your actions are based on your priors. Period. And there's no deviation. You're just every like synapse in your brain, all the particles that are moving at the same speed at the right. It's all determined. Now, if it's indeterministic, if there's some kind of random factor involved somewhere, either in your mind or outside your mind or wherever, something happens without a cause denoting it. It's just a completely random effect. Sometimes it doesn't have to be all the time. But if there's this randomness, if a decision that you make is based on randomness, then you aren't in control of that either. So either it's deterministic, which you are not in control of the priors that you have to make these decisions, or it's indeterministic where there's a random factor, and if something's random, you can't control what it is either. So either way you look at it in this true dichotomy, either free will does not exist, or free will does not exist.
I believe that there is nothing random. I believe that everything happens for a reason. There is no such thing as a coincidence. And I also believe that free will and free choice are two totally different things. Choices are the actions you take. Your will is what drives you to take that action.
Do you understand what I said?
I wasn't really even listening because it's not like I'm just gonna be honest.
It was.
Nah.
I'll be honest. That was fantastic. Oh, I just wanted to tell him how like he should have been listening. God damn, that was great.
I just broke out some logic on you there. Whenever there's a excluded middle true dichotomy, it's always really fun.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good point. I thought, yeah,
I heard Alex O'Connor
He
say
just, like-
that.
he just didn't even listen.
Yeah. Hey, Gulag Joe, you at least 18?
Yes. I was on, I think, Ogar's show earlier today.
Oh,
So
what do your notes say about this guy, Ogar?
I don't have him in front of me. I'm just chilling with
Oh,
my phone
shit.
right now.
Oh shit!
I don't
alright.
remember what we talked about at all.
Well, what
well,
got
I was
you?
you were also in the call, bruh, and we were talking about morality, but we're gonna move on from that.
Okay.
I want to jump on the free will thing really quick. I believe that God created all men with free will. They have to come to Christ. To come to Christ. They don't. They don't. Be gone, for I knew not know you.
So-
you know what I mean?
Do you accept what our definition of free will is?
Say that one more. Say the def for me.
Yeah, so it's just like, simply put, the capacity to have done otherwise. If you rewound the clock, And everything about a scenario that you made a decision in was exactly the same, down to the brain chemistry on the subatomic level was exactly the same, including your opinions and your thoughts, you could have acted differently. That would be free will.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that if you wind back the clock at all, you could have a random outcome forward.
So, but if it's random, you are not in control of that which is random, because then it wouldn't be random. So your free will
Sure.
wouldn't stand there either.
Well, I mean, are you talking about just events in your life? Yeah, I believe that.
Like anytime you make a
Um,
decision, like anytime, let's say that like yesterday you made a decision. If you ran back the clock to yesterday at the time where you were about to make that decision, and every factor of the entire universe at that time was exactly the same, down to the synapses in your brain, down to your
oh,
opinions and thoughts that you were having in the
yeah,
moment.
you would choose the same outcome.
Right. So this would be this would fall in line with my view. Based on everything that's going on around you, your priors, your brain chemistry, the opinions that you hold, the things that you want, which they're wants that you don't get to decide that you want either. These things all make whatever decision you make effectively necessary. You can't do anything other than what you want to do the most.
Sure. Do you believe that genetics play a major role in a person's life or environment?
I think that well, I don't know which one is more, but I think that there is a major role from genetics. I think that some people are going to be uh, more likely to have a certain type of personality based on their genetics. Like maybe they're not very good at learning something because of something going on with their brain, or maybe they're really good at learning things because of their brain chemistry. And if they're really good at learning things or really bad at learning things, that's going to affect their personal relationships, and that's going to affect the kinds of ideas that they can understand and the types of conversations they're going to have. And it's going to they're going to be moved by
Okay,
different
so
things.
you're kind of talking about like IQ, the way you say
I mean,
how they learn things and stuff
not
like that.
strictly. That's just like I think that that's just like
Okay,
a
that's
really
one,
obvious
but
point in
let's
genetics.
move past that. Yeah, I don't want to get into that. That's dark territory. But like even personal behaviors. So if you have a kid that lost his father and you observe the kid over years, he has the same mannerisms. He sits the same way. He strokes his hair the same way. These are like genetically coded things, or do you think that they're societal based, environmental
I
based?
don't know. I mean, like if he's acting just like his father, there's probably like some copycat going on where he like saw his dad acting a way, and so he's just gonna
Well, he didn't
copy
have
his
a dad.
dad.
He didn't have a dad. His dad left. He was or he died.
Oh, it's like it's just like it would otherwise be a coincidence then. I mean, I
Yeah,
would assume that there would be some kind of there would probably be
his
something genetic
grandfather.
about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
his grandfather would say like that is exactly what my son did. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Mhm. I mean, if it's a mundane
So
thing that everybody does, then it maybe will like stand out to them when it shouldn't, or maybe it's something that it's really specific that the dad did, and then in which case I don't know what we're talking about now, so like I have no idea, but I would say that there's a chance it could be something genetic, but I don't know.
well,
Being a little bit vague and hypothetical.
we're talking about free will and stuff, and I want to talk about genetics if we're talking about free will, because I think a lot of your genetics determine who you will be and who you are.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people put that on environment. I think it's majority genetic.
Well, I don't know which one is the majority, but I do think that both play a role. I think that both have a heavy hand.
And I think that you can take a fighter, say you have two twins, and we can do this with twin studies. One is raised in a Christian family, one is raised without Christians. The Christian guy is like way more successful. I will provide you studies. I don't have them in front of me, but I will provide you them if you want.
There are so many studies about how the non-religious countries in Scandinavia are like the best places to live.
Yeah, I'm from Sweden and Finland. What are you talking about? My parents
The
came to
non-religious
America.
places where nobody believes in religion, nobody believes in God, or very few people do, are the places where the people have the best outcomes. and are the
No,
happiest.
they
But, like,
believe in
talking about
God.
how the people that grow up
We
in
pay
Christian
like
households are doing the best, that's just
45%
wrong.
taxes. We do believe in God, bro. You're just making a generalized statement of atheism
Can you
in Scandinavia.
wait?
Don't get
who
off
believes in
my
God?
don't
Is that
back off my. Let me go back to my topic I was talking about, and I will answer you, Ogre, in a second. But if you put that one freak in a Christian household, he becomes like a good guy. If you take that freak and put him in a bad household, he's gonna use his fighting ability. But both at the end of the day choose fighting. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand what you're saying at this point.
So the guy that went to a Christian family does MMA because he likes fighting. The other guy that went to a shit family does fighting because he has to. They both chose fighting. Is my point.
hmm
It's genetic.
Well, there's
That
also like
you're
a guy.
genetically
There's also a guy
disposed to
that
these things.
there's also a guy that chose not to fight, and he lived in a secular household. And there's a guy who chose to fight, who doesn't choose
Yeah,
to
but
fight,
they're
who
not
lives in a Christian
twins.
household.
They're not twins. They're not
Um,
biologically the same.
oh, you're talking about a real scenario with real twins. I
Yeah,
thought you were just
I'm
making shit up.
demonstrating. Yeah, no, I'm demonstrating genetics.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm
And
not
how
even
it
disagreeing
determines
with
your
you about
life.
genetics playing a role. I mean, there could be. I mean, I think that's like a small, like sample pool of like a small pool
It
size of
is
like.
because twin studies are very small. But
Well,
my
yeah,
point would be is the
but
Christian did
I
it
would
the
want to see
legal
some
way.
more, but
The
and I don't
non-Christian
care that
did it
much
the
about
illegal
how
way.
much genetics. Like, I'm sort of bored of that topic. Like, I don't care how much genetics plays a role in our will.
Why do you not care? Isn't that
Because it
important
doesn't
to
matter to
structure
me.
society?
It doesn't matter for the purposes of this conversation.
Well, it does because
We haven't
if you
even touched
want
any of these
to
prompts.
yeah, if you want to have a godless society, you better understand genetics and how they impact people in society. Simple.
Why do I personally need to understand genetics?
I know you don't personally, but your ideas have no clue. Like you're just saying God is evil. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
Like where do we go from here? How do we govern ourselves? Like even Kant had some answers. Do you not have answers?
Yeah, well, that's a different discussion that isn't for this live. And that's like you need to go to a political live if you want to talk about what kind of policies we should enact or how we should
So
be
are you a
behaving.
theologian? Are you a theologian?
Certainly not.
Okay, then what gives you you want me to go to a political live, but you're not a theologian, you're not a politics streamer. What are you?
I'm an atheist.
That's it. You have no backing. You just don't think God exists. That's it.
I'm just some guy who deconstructed from Christianity on TikTok.
Yeah, you're a TikTok guy.
Yeah,
Do you
I'm
have
just a guy.
any idea how okay, God doesn't exist. How do we move forward? Are you just like breaking people's hearts here for
Well,
Do you
because
what
just
you're
reason?
not
skipping
want to
over
have
the
the conversation
substance.
at all?
Yeah, you're skipping over the substance. Like, God is evil. Okay, now what? Or God doesn't exist. Okay, now what? We're not talking about the now what. We're talking about the substance that you're trying to skip over. Like, you're granting the substance that I'm trying to have so that you can move past it and go towards
What
something after.
the evil of the world? I will listen to you all day. Explain the evil of the world to me.
The evil of the world? Oh, you mean like the problem of evil? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like what does God do that's evil?
So if God exists in our reality, then God would have created cancer and given it to innocent people just for them to suffer and die, among other things. But we can talk about cancer if you want.
Well, how do you know that God gave it to him? It seems a lot of it's man-made with all these
Because
warnings and labels.
there's no warning on the sun or in your DNA that will just sometimes randomly, for no other reason other than just a genetic mutation, give you cancer. God's trademark would be written on that. But yeah, I mean, he would have created, if he's the creator of all things, then he's the creator of cancer.
Debatable. If you put a white person in Australia below the equator, you're more you're going to get more cancer because you're not meant to be there.
But you know
You have
what?
white skin to be
If
above the
there's a
equator.
God that is good and all powerful, then you could put a white guy anywhere and he won't get cancer because cancer won't exist because it's evil to create cancer.
Yeah,
You see
well,
that?
God isn't. Yeah, God isn't here to give you the perfect life. Otherwise, you would not
Otherwise,
go
he'd
to
be
heaven.
good. Like if he was here to give us the
Pain,
perfect life, he'd be
pain,
good.
pain brings you closer to God. It's just true.
Yeah. Pain. Like, see, if God's giving me
So,
pain, I'm gonna
well,
want to get away
let me
from
ask
him,
you.
though.
Let me ask you. A 17-year-old kid in America is getting bullied at school. Do you want him to go to God, or do you want him to go to a gun, a secular idea?
I don't want him to go to
Obviously.
either of those things. What is this?
What a ridiculous false dichotomy. Obviously, there are much better
It's a-
places.
a
You know where that
ridiculous
kid should
false
go?
dichotomy.
You know where that kid should go is therapy.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Well, yeah. So therapy fails for young men like 90% of the time. It's actually
50%
over.
of
So
statistics
after
will pull out of people's asses as they give them.
no.
It
Like
was
look into it.
83%.
So the majority
It's actually
of
99%.
people, the majority of people in psychology are female, and they built it around the female brain. I promise you. I guarantee.
Oh my God.
Look it up. Look it
Tell
up
me
right
you
now.
don't know anything about psychology without telling me you don't know
Psychology is a
anything about
soft
psychology.
science, bro. It's not a hard science. I promise you.
Tell
Look
me
it
you
up.
don't know anything about science
Oh,
without telling me you don't know
you
anything
can
about
call
science.
you can call me a dumbass, but just look it up.
I mean, you just clearly don't know what you're talking about. You're completely off topic. Like, are you trying to make a case that God is not evil? Are you like just
am.
wanting to hear the case for why God is evil, and then you just want to change
You-
the
you-
topic
no,
to
no, no.
something else, so
You-
you don't
you
actually
want-
have to engage with it? Do you want to talk about something of substance?
No. You want to call God evil, but you have no moral structure to prevent anything or to shape society. You guys just want to say he's evil for being evil, but yet you're gonna take all the Christian ethics that you guys like and use it for your own purposes.
So we have our own, like, before we take a look at whatever the framework is on morality from Christianity or whatever God that exists would say, we already have our pre-existing moral frameworks for our own reasons. Like, he's got his, I've got mine. So we each have our opinions of what we would say is evil, and God's actions fit basically everyone's definition of evil. I think that people who would say otherwise are just special pleading for God. Like, if I were to
Yeah, let me ask you,
if I were to be right outside of a pool with a net that I could reach a drowning like 1-year-old and catch them and save their life, but I just watched, anybody would say that that's evil, until you find out that the
Yeah, I
person
think
that's
that
scenario is
happens
God, and
daily.
they special plead and say that it's actually good because he just arbitrarily said that it's good to watch 1-year-olds drown because he gets off on it or something. I don't know.
No, I think that happens every day. I think it's evil, like you think it's evil. But
Yeah, so
why do you
then
think
would
it's evil?
concede that God's
What
evil.
reason? What? No. What responsibility does that individual have?
Just
Hang
call
on.
it an internal critique, Joe. Just call it an internal critique. We're saying that in your worldview, you believe in a contradiction. You believe that that's evil, the situation Loeb's described. You believe it's evil. However, the fact that God has the power to stop it at no risk of injury to himself and could easily do so, you don't think that he's bad for not doing that, even though you would say Loeb's or I would be bad if we took the exact same action. That's the whole point. Instead of running away to what you think our morals are, actually engage with the argument, please.
Yeah, God is great, and He'll have a place for that child in the end. The guy that
Okay,
failed
what's
God's
better?
test
What's better?
will
Joe, what's better?
suffer.
What would be better for that child? To suffer and drown to death as a little kid, or to get to live a full, happy life and then die of old age surrounded by their loved ones? Which would be the better life for that person to have had?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, it was just it felt like the right
I think everybody's put here for a reason, and
No,
if
what
your
would be a
reason
better life? What would be a better life for that person to have had?
for you, it'd be living, probably being an
No,
OnlyFans
for that
prostitute.
person, what would have been better? For them to suffer and drown as a kid, or to get to live a long, happy life, die surrounded by their family and friends, and then still get to go to heaven?
I think neither is good for the kid and the human life, but in the spiritual life.
Okay, so you're saying it's actually not a bad thing for
The
children to
child
drown.
would have-
So
It's like
so
equal.
it's-
Having
Wait,
having a
hold on,
good
hang
long
on,
life
hang on,
is equal in
I
this
can-
person's view as
I can say-
drowning as a.
okay,
as a
so you
kid.
want to argue with
I
you want to argue with us about our morals. Our morals are so terrible. And yet you're the one that's saying that actually it's
Yeah, it's
okay
horrible.
if children drown.
No, no,
That's
no,
actually
it's-
not that
no,
bad.
no,
it's just
it is
the same.
not-
It's
it's
just
not
as good
okay.
as a long, happy life.
Dude, listen,
This
But
is like-
we've got the terrible
This
morals.
is what
Listen.
the belief
Oh
in
my
religion
God,
will
bro.
do to your brain. It
Jesus.
causes you to
No,
say
no.
like absurd things, like it's equally. It's like it's they're
No, no,
equal.
the
Drowning
guy-
horrifically as
the
a
guy-
child is the same. Is
Buddy,
the
let me
same
speak.
moral value.
You're
as
you're
living
you're just
a full,
not doing
happy
me a
life.
justice. No. If the guy failed to do it, the guy should be prosecuted, put in prison,
No,
executed.
that wasn't
I
the
don't
question,
care.
Joe.
My-
That wasn't
my-
God's failing to do it. God's the one that you think should be
Oh,
thrown in
you
prison.
think he's gonna hype down a fucking hyper beam, bro, and save a kid?
So
in
you're
a
saying
fucking
God's not
he's
powerful
good.
enough to do that?
Only if he's
He-
good.
no,
Yeah,
no,
if he's good.
Vidar. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
what
think
is
God's
good
not
to you?
powerful
do
enough
that.
for that?
What is the good to you?
No, we're talking in your worldview,
What?
Joe.
No, no,
Do
no. You
think-
keep saying
do
good.
you- in
What
your
is the
worldview,
good?
in your worldview, which is a better life? Drowning to death as a kid and having to go through that suffering, or getting to have your whole full life and die surrounded by your family and friends, and
Having
still
a
get to
full
go to
life.
heaven?
Having a
Okay,
full life would probably be better. Yes.
Yes, fantastic. Probably, of course, that would be better. And God had the option.
Well, I mean,
God
are
had
you
the
are you going to be like
God
a
had the
rape
option.
slave like
Joe,
you guys
Joe,
like?
Joe,
OnlyFans?
hey Joe. God had the option to let that kid have that longer life, have that happy life, and then still go to heaven. So saying that, like, oh, it's okay that God lets children die horrible
I
deaths
never
because they get
said
to go to
that.
heaven is ridiculous because he could have stopped it.
Dude,
and
I
then they
said
still get to go to
punish.
heaven.
Dude, I said punish the guy that didn't step in. That
Yeah,
is
that's
your
relevant.
only
Punish
job
God.
as a man.
Punish God then. He doesn't step in. Every time that any person drowns,
Dude,
anytime any person
Dude, you
starves,
just want to walk
anytime
away from
any person
responsibility.
anytime any person gets raped or killed or whatever, anytime anything happens to a victim, God is the person who didn't step in. Every time.
Well, I mean, like you guys are like thinking of God as like he's going to come down and smite like Zeus or something. Like you guys are
We're
totally
saying what would happen if he was good.
you lost the plot 100%.
No, we're the ones actually trying to talk about the topic. Is God evil? We're saying if God was good, here's what he would do. He doesn't do that, therefore he's not good. You're trying to run away from it because you know that you don't have any argument here.
No, I didn't. I said that it would be better if the kid lived, but I don't understand the master plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're
So
saying it's
I
okay
think-
for God
I
to do
think-
evil stuff because he might have a reason.
Yeah, if Lobes was sitting there and just filming it or something and putting it on YouTube, yeah, I would say imprison him, and I would say execute him. But I don't have that power.
Okay, God's doing that. God's the one doing that.
No, God, Lobes has free will. He could have jumped in, saved her.
Oh, God doesn't have free will?
You must not.
God, God does have free will, obviously.
Oh, okay,
Or
so God also has
he
free
has
will,
a-
so he's also
he has a
responsible for his
divine
choices.
plan.
So God is also responsible
No,
for
no,
his
no.
choices. So
Loeb
when he
could have
makes a
jumped
choice
in.
that's evil,
Hey,
he should be
no,
held
no, no.
responsible.
Loeb
I'm
is
not
there at the
omnipresent.
moment.
I'm not omnipresent.
You're scared of
not
water,
all-powerful.
pussy?
Come on.
Scared of
Now.
See
water?
how Joe can't even engage in the
Yeah.
argument? He has to try to run to insults.
Yeah, this is pathetic, Joe, man. All right, man.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like
You're-
I do
you're
remember you
pathetic.
from earlier. It was embarrassing then. It was worse this time.
Yeah. I do sound effects sometimes.
That was pretty good.
Let's bring up Cypress. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 38.
What god do you believe in?
No, and I'm an atheist too. Man, that was horrible.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I'm
It took-
sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
It took a while to like finally get the ad hom though, which I at least appreciate. Sometimes I feel like they can't hold it in, and it's like finally it just spews out like explosive diarrhea. It's like it slips out.
Yeah. If he is still here in the comment section, this is all that I really wanted to come up for, bro. You terrible God. Mark 16, verse 18. They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. Where are any Christians? Where are they? Why aren't they going to hospitals? Why aren't they healing the sick children? Where are y'all at?
That is,
They know it's bullshit. It's not.
I'm
It's
glad
not
you
gonna
asked them
happen.
to do that and not like the drink deadly poison thing, because like I want to check them on that, but at the same time I feel like I shouldn't do that, right? Yeah, like
No,
test
no, I'm
them
not
on
going
the
to do
other
that
thing.
because
Yeah,
even in John 14:13, I will do whatever you ask in my name, whatsoever you ask in my name, that
these
shall
are
I
verses
do.
I have highlighted exactly. Yeah, yep, yeah. This is like the
And this
direct
God
evidence
clearly
against
is
it.
not doing it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not only that,
for sure.
even in the Old Testament in Deuteronomy 24:16, you are clearly unalived for your own sins. There's the Father's not going to do it for you. You're not going. I mean, you're unalive for your own sins. But I mean, that's literally the only thing I was coming up for is Mark 16 verse 18. That guy just did not clearly understand anything.
hmm Yeah. Well, thanks for coming up and sharing that, Cypress. I really appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, man.
Didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry. Yeah. To be fair, because I do like being fair, that is in the long ending of Mark, so it wasn't in the original document. It's like an interpolation, but still, it's in the canonized Bible. So if there's anybody out there that takes the Bible at its word, this is a part of its word. You can just drink poison and be okay. And if you die, you didn't believe hard enough or some shit. You can lay your hands on the sick and heal them. You can handle snakes and all sorts of crazy shit. Then again, in John, as he was saying, Jesus says that for the believer, he'll do whatever you ask in his name. He does not. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he says, I don't remember the verse, but doesn't he say something about like whenever multiple of you gather together and ask for something in my name, I'll give it to you?
I think he says, I'll be. Well, this is I think a different verse. Whenever two or more are gathered, I'm there with you. But I think whenever like three or more are gathered and they pray in his name, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is, but I know
But it
there's a bunch
doesn't
of
even.
spots where it says like, just ask for it and I'll give it to you, and it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are asking.
Yeah, that's the one in John that he was bringing up, where he says, actually, I have this preface. I'll be like, do you think that if Jesus says something that it's just like true? And oh yeah, yeah. Well, what if he says like truly? Do you think that emphasizes how true it is? He's probably not even like being allegorical. Like, yeah, 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 it's like extra true or so. Oh, well, what if he says very truly? I was like, oh, it's like a truthgasm. Okay, so he says, very truly, I say to you in this verse, if you ask anything in my name, I will do it. And then he says it again, he doubles down. Just in case you thought that he was like being hyperbolic, he basically says the same shit again. Like, again. In fact, I have it highlighted. Instead of me paraphrasing it poorly because I don't memorize the Bible like I used to. It's right here. Oh shit, where is it? Yeah, John 14 starts in 12. Very truly I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do. In fact, will do greater works than these because I am going to the Father. Now, remember the kinds of things that Jesus did, all the magic shit that he did. Well, maybe Ogar, you're kind of on his level as a magician, but yeah, like I don't see Christians walking on water, raising the dead, healing the blind by like spitting on people's faces. Although that would be pretty cool. I will do whatever you ask in my name so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. Then he says it again in 14. If in my name you ask me for anything, I will do it. Period. This is like.
That was a metaphor, you see. Now, what it was a metaphor for, I have no idea, but
Very
it was a
truly,
metaphor.
Metaphorically, I say to you. Very truly I say to you that if you ask in my name, I might do it. I might do it. And I think this will be
Well, it's
literally
like
when it's convenient.
so it's like the double slit experiment. You see, Jesus, like sometimes he acts like a wave.
Right, Everybody do the. Wait, would his wave be like this? Because he's.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I found out tonight that if you take 2 water bottles and you hold them out, that means God exists.
Yeah. Do you think that do you think he might have been trying to get you to do like a cross or something?
No, because he was Muslim.
Oh. No, yeah, you're right. He was Muslim.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the craziest
He was just trying
argument
to
I
get you
think
to
I've ever heard.
T-pose. That was insane.
Yeah, he's
That
like
was
stand
insane.
up and then take 2 water bottles. It's like I don't. What are we
Why do you
proving here?
even need the water bottle? You can still do the same point by just holding your arms out without holding anything. Oh no,
Yeah.
you did 3 water bottles. It's not gonna fucking work now. Oh, you had 1 water bottle. Oh, I didn't say it has to be empty or full. Like, oh my god. Like, what's with the details? What's with
I
his whole
I thought
thing?
that was
For
absolutely
everybody
crazy.
who doesn't know, earlier in Ogar's live, there was a guest who was because we shouldn't talk about about this, like everybody knows. He was basically saying like, okay, there's no God. Yeah, well, hold 2 water bottles in your hands and hold your arms out side by side. Do you think you could do that for eternity? Well, that's how you know that somebody else can, because you can't do it. Basically, he was saying like, since Ogar is not strong enough or powerful enough to hold the water bottles for an infinite amount of time, that means that someone exists who can. That was basically what his argument was. Like,
And I'm
because
just
the weak
floored by the
exist, the
amazing
infinitely
logic.
powerful exist. It was crazy shit. We've got a guest here. We've got the beatboxing monkey. I like beatboxing, and I like monkeys. So hopefully this guest is like amazing.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
Pretty
fantastic.
sure we've
Thank you
spoken
for
before
asking.
and had good conversation.
That's great.
Are you at least 18?
Yes, I am. Thank you for asking.
What God do you believe in?
I'm Christian, but that wouldn't be relevant to my argument. Well, kind of, but
Okay.
not really.
Well, what prompt do you want to engage with?
I mean, technically speaking, my response or explanation for the first one will automatically just, not necessarily automatically, but inherently entails something being wrong with the second one. And the third, actually.
Okay, so what's
How do I... So, God, or whatever you want to classify it as, is holy, right? Something you would call God would be holy. Holy is a word derived from Latin, which means to be separate from the mundane. Separate from mundane would simply just mean better, higher, not of the same.
Special.
Like they're not the same thing. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So basically, anything holy would be, in this context, by the way, not just like objectively. In this context, would be good, right?
I think it's intended to basically be separate in a good way. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you call God holy, it's like saying
Yeah.
that's like calling God good. And I don't think that calling something a thing, or defining something in a way necessitates it. Like if J.K. Rowling defined Voldemort as the good guy, that wouldn't magically make him good.
No, that's not my point. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that wasn't what I was saying. Where I was going with that though was, would it be biblical wise, or is this simply just across the board for religion? I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I can get specific with the Bible. When I talk to Christians, usually I use the Bible, but I also use the real world examples too. I don't know how long you were here, but we were talking
Okay,
about
so
former people.
okay, that's cool. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Bible wise, the absence of God is evil.
Like, if God doesn't
Like the
exist, then that would be
the
evil, or are you saying that like wherever God is not, then evil exists?
correct. The
The
latter.
second one? Okay.
Yes.
So God is
Would you
not.
disagree?
I mean, like that. If that's what you would say, that sounds like your opinion. Like I don't see evil as that way. I think that because I don't believe in God, right? So like
Well,
wherever
that would
God
mean that.
is not present, then evil is. So like if God is not, if there is evil somewhere, then you can know God, the omnipresent being, is not there. I think that's a little interesting. But then if there is no evil somewhere, then you can know that God is there. Because if he was not
Essentially.
there, then there would be some evil there.
Yeah, and that could just be in a general interpretation. If I would be more specific with it, if I were to be, you wouldn't say God is necessarily a being. You would say it's more. Well, you wouldn't say God is a being. You would say He is, and He would is a process. Now, when I'm saying He, I'm just using it as for as a reference because of my own personal belief. I do believe in the Bible, the Christian. Separate from that, though, I would say He is a monad. If you know what that is.
No, I don't know
I
what a
think that
monad is.
Monad is just a how the hell do you pronounce that? Pythagorean? It's just a Roman concept of a metaphysical origin point.
Okay, so not necessarily personal.
Yeah, just something I just happen to believe.
I wouldn't
Or
consider that to be
that's
God
more
if it's not
proven.
personal. I think that's like one of the main criteria that makes God God, is it being personal.
Being God is being personal.
Yeah, like if you posit a God that's not personal, I would say that that's not how most people, not myself included, defines God. I think that personal is necessarily a part of God's definition.
Oh,
otherwise we're just
I
talking
wouldn't
about like a natural force.
Right. Yeah, it'd be
natural force.
indistinguishable from God.
More so essentially a non-contingent foundation that everything would be
Yeah,
contingent
that's
upon.
just the universe.
Yeah, you could have like a necessary foundation
Universe is
for the
physical. It
universe
can't be
that's not personal.
the
It would
universe.
be
The universe is
necessary.
physical. It cannot be non-contingent.
You
I mean,
can.
universe is necessary because it's physical. Something physical cannot be non-contingent.
How do you demonstrate that?
Can you explain that?
Physical things are contingent upon measurements, conditions, or laws to exist.
No.
Okay. What would you say? What would you say
No.
what would you say the electromagnetic field is contingent upon? This is a physical thing.
Electromagnetic field. That's
Yeah.
not contingent. How do I explain that? The
Demonstrate
electromagnetic
that demonstrate that
field.
it's contingent
That's
on something.
contingent on something. Its effects or the thing itself.
The thing itself.
Thing itself. Let's see. What would that be contingent upon? Not necessarily existence, because obviously something need to exist. For a force to have, what the fuck? A force. Let's think something similar. How would I word this? Frame this. Electromagnetic force doesn't really have a physical origin point. It's more. What is it?
Is this just like ChatGPT or something, or?
Huh?
He's
No, I'm
like
just mumbling
processing
to
it
myself.
himself. I can see the numbers on his face, like.
Oh.
No,
It's like he's doing the Jimmy Neutron thing, where it's like think, and like all the things are popping.
I thought he was reading AI.
No, my computer's actually off. That's a great idea. Not AI thing. I have a document thing I usually use as a reference to trying to format my fucking.
Thanks, Christina. I can help you out a little bit. So we haven't been able to demonstrate the origin of the quantum fields, or determine whether or not they even have an origin or an explanation. They could be brute. They could be contingent on something else. We don't have really evidence for either at the moment. But it does seem like that they are ubiquitous throughout the entire universe, and everything that we know about physics, quantum physics, is contingent on them. They seem to be fundamental. People call them the fundamental fields as well as the quantum fields. So this would be one example that we could point to of something physical that is not contingent, at least potentially not contingent. And if you want to say that it is contingent, then the burden of proof would be on you, because right now, as it stands, it either is or isn't, and they appear to be fundamental. There's evidence of it at least being fundamental.
Yeah. Apparently he disconnected.
Did he? Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he lagged. Here he is.
No,
Here he is.
I've
Here we
returned. I lagged.
Did you hear what I
Yeah.
did you hear what I said?
I think I heard the. Damn, no.
I was saying that as of right now in science, we don't have an explanation for the existence of the quantum fields. Like we don't really know if they are brute, if they are contingent on something that's more foundational. Right now, it's an open question. They seem like they are fundamental to the universe, and so some people call them the fundamental fields. But if you want to say that they are certainly contingent, then the burden of proof would be on you. As of right now, in science, this is an open question, and it does seem like it is not the case that they are contingent, at least.
I mean, from your interpretation, I mean, I guess interpretation could also be argued that they would be correlated with dimensions. Say, let's say a dimension has dimensions exist. You have a set of dimensions. Some set of laws or whatever you want to call them will exist within those dimensions. And fundamental force, it could be those laws that exist within dimensions. But that's just an interpretation. I'm not saying that that's what it is. That's the truth. That's just an interpretation somebody could have, like potentially.
Whatever.
I'm not saying that's what it is.
It seems like whatever that thing is going to be that you're saying, like, okay, like maybe the quantum fields are whatever, like ontologically dependent on some other thing, and so they're not fundamental. That doesn't like.
No, I wasn't saying they weren't fundamental. I was saying that was an interpretation. That's not. I wasn't saying that's concrete. What I was saying was confirmed.
Your claim though was that physical things can't be necessary,
Yes.
and you haven't given us any reason to think that that's the case.
Let me see. You asked about the electromagnetism. Is electromagnetism physical?
I said the electromagnetic field, and yes, it's a physical.
Electromagnetic
It's a
physical
source of
thing.
a physical force.
Source of a physical force. A source of a physical force.
Yeah, physical just means things that are involved in and abide by the laws of physics. So obviously, the
measurable?
electromagnetic field is physical.
Can we measure that?
The field itself?
Yes.
I mean, we
Yes.
can measure its excitations and its effects.
I mean, we can measure. Well, is that it? Can we say that? Because we can measure time, but time itself wouldn't, because it's a
Time
temporal
is
axis.
physical.
Time
Yeah,
itself. or
time
like
is
the
also
measurable?
physical.
How?
Yeah, space is physical. Time is physical. Like when you talking about space
I would say
time, you're
time is
talking
physical
physics.
because
Physics
I mean,
and physical.
no, space time is just three spatials plus one temporal. Temporal
Yeah,
isn't
that's
physical. That's
physical.
what.
Yeah, it's
Huh?
physical. That's
Oh.
why it's a topic in physics because it's physical.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what physical means.
no, I'm saying it's not physical because it's categorized as a temporal. That's why it's not a spatial axis.
That's physical, my guy.
Besides the point,
It's
like
not.
Spatial, temporal, regardless, all of that's physical.
No,
Time and
wouldn't be
space
physical
all
because
are
it's not a
under
spatial axis.
physics. They're physical.
No, space time is physical. That's what makes our four dimensions. I'm saying time itself isn't a physical part thing.
Whoa,
Beatboxing.
dude.
Beatboxing.
Holy
The
shit.
reason it's called space time is because time is the same fundamental thing as space. Like they're interwoven. They are the same thing. So it's all physical. You can't say space time is physical, but time isn't physical. That's what space time means. Like how space and time are one thing.
Time wouldn't be physical though. It's not a spatial axis.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess the argument from Nuh-uh is a great
that-
argument.
So
to
you don't
defend
think?
your position.
All right, when I ask you a question, if I were to say something like, "Do you believe that we exist in physical reality?"
We would define
Would you
it.
say yes?
I mean, it would be dependent upon what you mean by reality, like actuals, existence,
Holy
being
shit.
is.
I was worried about that.
We just pulled Jordan
Yeah.
Peterson to completely avoid.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'll move on. Dang, because it's a yes or a no. I don't want to get down the Jordan Peterson bullshit. Because the answer is yes. Like we live in a physical reality, and like space is physical. That's why. So anyway, let's bring up Josh. Josh, you
Hey guys, how you doing?
Oh, fantastic.
I
Thanks,
am.
Josh. Great. Oh, what God do you believe
I'm an
in?
old fart. I believe in Jesus, the triune God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So I'm going to put the burden of proof on you.
Hey, hold on. I got to butt in real quick. I'm so sorry. I actually got to
Sure.
get going, Lobes. I love you, and I hope I will see you
Yeah.
again soon.
Well, before you go, everybody, make sure you follow Ogar. He goes live like 5 days a week, and he's kicking ass. Ogar, earlier today, you had like 350 people in your live. It's pretty fucking sweet. I don't know if you noticed, but that was kick ass.
I did not.
Everybody,
Thank you.
yeah, everybody follow Ogar.
Oh God. Oh God.
Thank you, Ogar, for joining. Okay, so Josh, you're gonna put the burden of proof on to me for some reason. That's fine.
Yes.
But okay.
So empirical data, just empirical data, right? Not bringing scripture into it, not bringing anything of that nature into it. So if Jesus is the God of the Trinity, Father, Son, different but equal, how do you account for, say, the 5,000 years of history? And then we'll just go back 2,000 years when Jesus died, 2,000 years of history of hundreds of millions of billions of people who say they have had personal encounters and experience with Jesus. Not only that, but if you were to do research, you would see the two underground churches in the world that are exploding right now, one in Iran, and prior to all the bombing and stuff, the underground church in Iran was exploding. And not only that, the underground church in China is also exploding. There are hundreds of stories, you can just do research online, of Jesus revealing himself to Muslims because Jesus knows that conversion from Muslim to Christianity is illegal, unfortunately. Proselytizing is illegal in Iran. And so actual spreading of the gospel in any form of function, except supernaturally through the power of the Holy Spirit, is really the only way that the gospel is being actively spread, or is probably the most prominent way the gospel is being spread in Iran and China. So just empirically speaking, are you going to say that, again, the hundreds of millions of billions of people throughout history all had mass illusion?
No, certainly not. I wouldn't say that they all had mass delusion, but I think that people can be easily bamboozled when it comes to religion. You got a lot of religions that'll blow up. You got millions of Muslims, you got millions of Christians, and you got people who will find religion in an unlikely circumstance, oftentimes because they're desperate or because they need something from it, and it's an ultimate test of faith to accept a faith that is inconvenient or even detrimental. Sometimes you'll find one where it's like convenient, and that's the case, so it's like easy to fall into. But other times it might be like, I can know that I believe this because this would be an illogical thing for me to accept under these circumstances, and that's how I can know that I truly believe it deep down. I think some people go that way, but this is like, we're dealing with vast generalizations here, and I don't think that it would be the case that it's like Jesus, a part of a illogical trinity, doing it. If that's like the notion that you're trying to put forth, I would just say that, well, the Trinity is obviously illogical, so it can't be that. So we can rule that explanation out.
Well,
we can rule that explanation
one of
out,
the
and
things
then
that you
try
have
to find another.
one of the things that you have to understand is that, first of all, the Trinity doesn't make sense. There are things in life that you have to accept, like the sky being blue. You just have to accept the sky being blue, and it might be a cop-out answer, and I'll say that. And I've been a Christian in my entire life, and I can't be the first one to say, I'm not done. I can't be the first one to say that I understand the Trinity completely. But what I can say is that there are, again, things in life that you have to accept, and that's just one of them. That we serve a triune God, because I'm a Trinitarian, and so I have three parts: body, soul, and spirit. So again, please. Please, burden of proof, in the sense of millions of billions of people throughout history. So because of that, and because of what I see happening in history right now in Iran and also in China, where Jesus has revealed himself, you can't sit there and tell me, empirically speaking, that they're all crazy.
No, I'm not saying that they're all crazy. I'm saying
that
that like
outweighs everything that you say altogether.
So what you're trying to do is you're saying you're putting the burden of proof on to me to demonstrate how it's not Jesus of the Trinity, and I'm saying I can easily say that it's at least not that by just demonstrating that the Trinity is illogical. Now, I don't accept that the sky is blue in the same way that I accept the Trinity is true, because the Trinity is clearly illogical. If I look at the sky and I see the color blue, I can just say that the sky is blue because that logically follows. When you see something that's blue, then the thing is blue. It's just a tautology. But with the Trinity, it violates the laws of logic, so it necessarily cannot be true. It's actually it's necessarily false.
Well,
So you're going to say that? So you're going to say that to the millions of billions of Christians in Iran and China, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, real
not
quick,
right
because
now,
I think we've got some misunderstandings though. Like you're talking like Christianity is illegal in China. It's not. You can be Christian in China. They allow conversion to Christianity. It's just if you're going to do it openly, you have to do it through the state-sanctioned Christian churches. So, for example, if you're going to be Protestant, you must join the Three Self-Patriotic Movement, and Catholics must join the Chinese Catholic Patriotic Association. But they can proselytize amongst themselves, right? So this idea that Christianity is like outright
So what's the
banned in
definition
China
of
is just wrong.
proselytizing? What's the definition of proselytizing?
A definition of proselytizing would just be to try to preach to convert to your faith.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, again, as far as the actual truth sharing, or I would say almost 80. I'm sorry. I just got home and I switched to my Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay, I'll probably stop then.
So
happens to me too.
Anyways,
don't drive live, by the way.
So with that being said, the Christian movement, if you will, does, as far as the actual Christian faith, does not align with the CCP really at all. If you were to drill down in the values, and again, if we go to Iran, any type of proselytizing or conversion from Islam to Christianity or publicly sharing your faith
about
in
China
Iran
now.
is illegal.
Hold on. So real quick, we're
I'm
just talking about China.
Both.
Well, we'll get to Iran in just a minute, but when we're talking about China, as long as it passes through word of mouth, now it is true they can't be going like door to door proselytizing, even within the Three Self-Patriotic Movement and the Chinese Catholic Patriotic Association. They still can't go like door to door to try to convert, but if they have like friends and family over, they can do it by word of mouth, right? That there's no law against that. They just can't publicly try to convert, and they can't go door to door to try to convert. So the idea that again, the idea that China's exploding, well, yeah, because they're allowed to convert. Christianity is not banned outright in China.
They're going to say that, but that's not true in its truest sense of the term.
Well, no, you can.
It's a modified version of Christianity that fits the narrative of the CCP.
Oh, I don't deny that, but it still holds the.
But it's not the true message of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
That's not what we're debating here. The idea is, what you're saying is that we've got these mass people that are converting to Christianity, right? Now, what the message of Christianity is, well, you wouldn't agree that Mormonism is Christian, but yet Mormons are going to stand on top of the mountains and shout that they're Christian, right? But that's not what we're talking about. Both of these movements still have a belief in the death and resurrection of Jesus for the redemption of sins, and they're allowed to convert to it. It's not banned.
Yeah, now, what you told me when you came up here was burden of proof is on me. Disprove that it's Jesus doing these things. That disprove that Christianity being true is the reason why this is happening. And I don't even have to have an alternative explanation as to how this happens to tell you that it can't possibly be Christianity or Jesus himself as the reason. And one of the reasons I stated was that the Trinity is illogical. You didn't really want to engage with that, and I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to either, because it's a pretty good argument. But there's also the case that God's existence itself seems to be pretty illogical as well. But we can take this in various different ways. But I don't know a whole lot about countries' policies and stuff, so I'm going to be a little bit lost in the weeds if we're going this route.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, that's the route that I'm going, because I do know what is happening, because I do spend time researching and different things like that, which is why I'm specifically taking the conversation this direction. Christianity in America is easy. Christianity in the Middle East is extremely difficult.
So if Christianity grew exponentially in a place where it was let's say you get the death penalty if somebody even thinks you're a Christian, and it grew, I think that you want to put the burden of proof on me. The burden of proof would be on anybody who making a positive claim. So if you want to say that it's Jesus, then you would have a burden of proof. If I wanted to say it's not Jesus, yeah, I would also have a burden of proof. But I could just demonstrate that Christianity is illogical, and so it could not be something that comes from Christianity if Christianity is illogical.
Well, and the question you have to ask too, though, is if we're talking about Christianity shouldn't thrive because people would be unalived. Well, how the fuck did Judaism survive?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Yeah, how did Judaism survive? Both Islam and Christianity were literally had laws and councils legislating the mass conversion of the Jewish population to either convert or die. So how?
With Judaism specifically, it's more tradition than anything else. It really is. So the reason why Judaism, and please understand that you have to take a look at two different sects, if you know what I mean, of Judaism specifically. You have to take a look at, and I'm talking about more or less the big picture. There is tradition. There's traditional. Again, the believing specifically in the Torah, the Talmud, looking at the Apocrypha and different things like that. All those, the tradition of Bar Mitzvah and Bat Mitzvah, that's all tradition in its truest sense. And on the flip side of that, there's also the Messianic Jews. The Messianic Jews who specifically do believe in Jesus Christ.
They're
as
Christian.
Lord.
They're just Christian.
And I mean,
you're telling you're talking to somebody
semantics.
you're talking to. It's not semantics. You're talking to somebody who is Jewish, and they're just Christians. But my point is, though, is going back to what Lobes was talking about. What you're trying to say. You were trying to say that in these areas, these individuals who are converting to Christianity because of the laws, they would have been unalived, right? So something has to be converting them, right? But we're in a case where we had hundreds of years where Jewish individuals, just by virtue of being Jewish, if you didn't convert to Christianity, you would be unalived, right? But yet, religious Jews who practice rabbinic Judaism are still thriving. Even in these cultures, they still thrived, right?
Because of tradition.
No. Do you know how I'm refuting your argument?
You're not doing a very good job.
Because you're not listening. They were still openly Jewish.
You still have to convince me, and you're not doing a very good job, because that's how the Jewish tradition, Jewish faith,
do you
has
understand
survived.
the angle he's coming at it with, at least? Do you understand?
That's what I'm asking. I believe I do, but again, we're not talking. We're not talking specifically. We're not also specifically not talking about Judaism, because.
Can you steel man my argument?
Just to make sure that you understand where he's coming from.
I'm sorry, my wife just called me. Jews in themselves don't believe that Jesus is Messiah. They still believe that Messiah is still yet to come.
And why did Christian nations, what did they threaten to do to Jewish people?
Oh, I'm not saying Christianity is all, popcorn.
That's not where I'm going. What I'm saying is what I'm saying is that there was a time when simultaneously Christian nations that had made Christianity their state religion, and nations that had made Islam their state religion, gave Jews an ultimatum. They told us that we either had to convert to either Christianity or Islam, or we would be executed, right? But yet, Judaism survived. It didn't just all of a sudden end, right? It survived, and it still survives, right? But that you would say that doesn't make Judaism true. You wouldn't say that.
Explain yourself. How would I not say? Because I do.
You think Judaism's true?
100%.
Wait. You think? I think we're still waiting for the Mashiach?
So I believe Judaism is true in the sense of the Talmud, the Torah, and all those different things. I do believe that.
Wait, you accept the Talmud? I don't think you want to accept the Talmud.
I do believe Jews specifically did unfortunately miss out on Jesus being Messiah when he did come the first time.
I don't think you want to accept the Talmud.
So, if I'm,
you know what the Talmud says about Jesus?
If I'm speaking out of turn on the Talmud, then I'll go educate myself. And
the Talmud says that Jesus, that Mary got impregnated by a Roman soldier, and that the whole narrative is just made up to spare her shame and to spare Joseph's shame, and that Jesus is boiling in excrement right now.
That's shit, by the way.
Shit and semen.
That's why I'm saying I would go educate myself better.
So you don't hold to Jewish belief then, right?
I actually do follow all the feasts. And I can explain to you actually how the feasts do paint to Jesus specifically.
Wait, do you follow all the mitzvahs?
No, I don't. I specifically follow the feasts because I'm not grafted into the old covenant. I'm grafted into the new covenant.
Can you show me any scripture where the new covenant has different laws?
Well, very specifically, Jesus said, "I didn't come to abolish the law, but I came to fulfill it."
Do you know what fulfill means in a Jewish sense?
Basically, so specifically in this sense, when Jesus said, "I came to fulfill the law," he basically said that I'm taking all the law and all the prophets upon myself.
Is that what he's saying? Have you read Matthew 23?
Fortunately. Oh, sorry. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah. Have you read Matthew 23?
Matthew 20. Are you guys still there? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Have you read Matthew 23?
Yes, I have.
What does the beginning of Matthew 23 say? I'll go ahead and read it real quick.
Sorry,
Then Jesus said, Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, "The scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat," meaning that they have the authority. "Therefore, do whatever they teach you and follow it, but do not do as they do, for they do not practice what they teach." And then he continues to talk about why they're hypocrites. So long after the Sermon on the Mount, he's telling the people and his disciples, these hypocrites over here, don't do what they do because they're hypocrites. But whatever they teach you, you better do what they teach you. Do you know what they were teaching?
You understand what he's saying? He's saying, like, basically. All right, I'm not going to go into that conversation. But what I'm saying,
I wouldn't go into that conversation if I were you either. Do you know what the Moses seat is in a synagogue? Do you know what Moses' seat is in a synagogue? I bet he doesn't. It's a seat that synagogues have that the rabbi sits in, and it represents the authority of Moses, because Moses got the law directly from Hashem, from God. And so the Moses seat represents that authority. And so when Jesus says the scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat, he is in fact saying that they have the authority of the law. They have this authority from God. Therefore, do whatever they teach you and follow it. But do not do as they do, for they do not practice what they teach.
Right. Exactly.
And what were they
we
teaching?
agree.
And what?
He keeps leaving the app. Do you know, like, surely you know that we can't hear you when you're off the app. He must know it by this point. Because, like, otherwise we would have been talking over him for a while.
Yeah,
He must have figured it out. He must already know.
he must know.
Not the real Dwight's talking about all that Moses cake. That's lip biting good right there.
And we're gonna throw out Matthew chapter 5 and say that fulfill, Jesus being a Jewish person, that fulfill doesn't have the Jewish context to it anymore. Then we throw
because it doesn't say because it says he didn't come to abolish the old law. That does still translate to, after apologetics, it does actually mean that he did come to abolish, because we don't have to worry about that law anymore. But that, like, we don't need to talk about that.
Oh, he ran! He frickin' ran!
And I ran so far away. Oh wait, yeah, that's the meter has to get full first before singing a song. My bad.
I was just gonna ask him about, since we're teaching about following the law, I was just gonna ask him about the virginity laws found in Deuteronomy.
I thought you were going to talk about the stoning children. Usually that's well, that was a Jesus thing. Hey, Sunday worship.
Oh, yeah, Mark 7.
Right. He's like, hand washing. Where is that in the God's law? Why you guys like so hard on for this? Like, whatever happened to getting the hard on for stoning kids? Whatever happened to that? That's God. That's God right there, homie.
Leviticus 21:9. When a daughter of a priest profanes herself through prostitution, she profanes her father, she shall be burned to death.
Ouchie. That's not good. That's called getting burned. That's when you get burned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's lots of messed up stuff. I mean, there's the being sold to your rapist, and like that's a punishment for him somehow.
Yeah, right.
Like, he has to pay his father, pay her father, 50 shekels of silver, and it's like, well, yeah, because the father's the real victim, because the daughter is his property. He was the one who was harmed.
Well, and here's something too that's kind of messed up about that, right? So if we go to Exodus 21, when we talk about verse 7, when a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. If she does not please her master, who designated her for himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to foreign people, since she is the best. But then it mentions, if he takes, this is verse 10, if he takes another wife to himself, he shall not diminish the food, clothing, or marital rights of the first wife. And if he does not do these three things for her, she shall go out without debt, without payment of money. So imagine that you're the first wife, but you're the grape victim, right? So that's how you become his first wife. But then he goes and grapes another virgin. And now he's like building up this harem for himself.
And he had 100 shekels of silver, so it's like all good. That's just the cost.
Yeah,
that's just what it costs to rape somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it gets to the point where like he's on like his fifth wife, and all of a sudden you're his first wife and he can't afford to feed you anymore. And so because he can't feed you anymore, you're let out. You don't owe him anything. But it also says without payment of money. So you go out with nothing. You're just kind of kicked out of the house.
You just don't go out with negative stuff. You go out with zero.
Yeah,
Well,
with
I mean, I
zero.
guess it's possible he says yeah, but it doesn't say that he has to. The worst case scenario is what we want to look at here. The worst case scenario, you still don't have debt in the worst case scenario, but you also don't have anything else. Yeah, this is like a big problem. Ice Cream is saying basically what I was trying to say. Like, if Dude Man is rich, he just gets a pass. Like, his golden rod gets to go wherever it wants to go, so long as he's got 50 shekels of silver for each young maiden he plunges into. It's kind of irresponsible, I think, of God to make a law like that. But maybe God's anti-capitalist. Maybe he's like, nobody's gonna have this much money.
Maybe. And Kingdom George, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15 says that if you are demanded of you, you must give a defense of that which you have hope in. You gotta be respectful about doing it. So we're challenging you. We're asking you, like, we think God is evil. We do believe that if God did exist, that Satan is in fact better. But it's a case that neither are real. And we're demanding of you that you give a defense for these. Why do you think God is good? Why do you think God is better than Satan? And most importantly, why do you think he's real?
Yeah, we are waiting for anybody to join the guest queue. There isn't anybody in here right now, so I'm just kind of sitting here waiting. What if I click on the... Oh, we got... Hey, Ice Cream's never been up on my panel before. Everybody, give Ice Cream a follow. He does lives as well. What's up, dog? You're really quiet.
Bad audio. Is that better?
Much better. I could like barely hear you before. What's up, Creamy?
Well, I actually I didn't realize you haven't been in the queue, but I'm so glad that you didn't. I have so many issues with these people and their religious, Christian, biblical kind of defense of this kind of stuff. So I have a question I want to ask you though.
Me or Cyber?
So, no, you, Lobes. Hey, what's up, Cyber?
Hey.
Sorry, Cyber.
If you hear running noise, it's my hedgehog on his wheel.
I thought it was you refusing to engage with the argument.
But you've heard, like, when somebody shows up, I'm just going to bounce here. I just have a quick question. Bro, by the way, congratulations on your show. Nice shit.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good
Very
shit,
happy
bro.
about
I
it.
really appreciate that. Yeah, you should be. It's nice. You're doing really well. I'm not jealous, but I'm just so curious. You've seen my show, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about like the difference between like my impatience with people? Because you're not a believer either. Were you ever a believer?
I was when I was up until the point where I was 22. Then I still believed in God, just not Christianity, for a non-specific amount of time. I don't know when I finally became an atheist.
That's so funny. That's actually pretty similar to my experience. But like, were you fundamentalist? Like, how?
I was, yeah.
Deep. Oh man, that's really bizarre.
I would have
That's
said
an
that
interesting
God
story,
could
'cause
even
you know
do
that I have-
logical contradictions if you asked me back then. It's a miracle that I
I
never
probably
got
would have
out.
said that too. I probably would have said that too, because obviously he just has like, you don't even think about it. He has infinite power and logic and just go shove it or whatever.
Yeah, well,
And
he
it's
made
like, how do
he
you?
made logic. There was no logic, and then he made it. That was like what I would probably say.
Yeah, maybe, but then of course, like you can't trust what it is, because if he said, up is down and down is up, all of a sudden that's just true for you because you can't see logic itself. You see what I'm saying? Like you can't
Yeah,
if you can't assess
justify
logic,
it. You just presuppose that it's true. That's the
right?
foundation.
Even if it doesn't make any damn sense. Like God could make
Correct.
logic not make sense or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting. So this is kind of a personal question, I guess. How do you keep your temper, bro? How do you like, what's going through your mind when you're listening to these people say stuff that, like, for me, it's like a frog in the hot water. Like I just hear all of
Yeah.
this silliness, and
We've
I'm
got
reactive.
different like personalities, and so well,
What, you and me?
yeah, you and I have different personalities, very obviously. So I just think that it's really admirable when somebody is confronted with someone who's like really emotional or is saying really dumb shit, and they maintain their composure and let the strength of their arguments do the talking. And even when somebody
Yeah,
starts to try to do ad homs and be like making fun of you, making fun of your friends
that's
and
on
your
them.
family,
That's their
it's like
business.
they're showing their ass, and it's like if
Were you
I
always
don't want
like
to
that, or
I
did
don't want to
you?
stoop down to their level and like be like
Right, but I
roll
wouldn't say
around in the
that because
mud
I'm down
with them,
here, you know.
you know.
But I mean,
I mean, like
it's
that's
really
just
kind of impressive. I've kind of thought this for a while that it does kind of demonstrate a kind of intellectual prowess.
I
You're
think
allowed to.
it makes me it kind of validates them in a way when I do that. Like if I don't take them seriously because of how they're acting, then that's like, yeah, like you said, it's on them. Like I'm not going to they're acting childish, or maybe they say something dumb. I should be able to explain why it's dumb without getting really upset.
I know, and I really appreciate that because I've watched you for a while, and I've watched some of these other deconstruction folks, and you've probably seen the same group of folks, and a lot of them they're just really good at that, and you can see my temperament ain't like that, and
Well,
I
not all of
want to
them.
recognize that.
You should watch Ogar, dude. Ogar was up here earlier today, and he does his own streams. You actually have seen him before.
He's a
He
young
started.
man. He's got clean shaven face. He's kind of fit looking. He has like space background type shit. He types all the time. Is that the guy?
No.
Is it Ogar with
No.
umlaut?
No, Ogar is this big fat dude with a big beard, and he's
Oh
brand
no, no,
new.
no, no! I love that guy. You were on his show one time.
Well, often actually.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
I
he
fucking love
just
that guy.
started like a month or two ago. Earlier
How
tonight,
does he
he
do?
had like
Does he have
350
people?
people in his live. But
Dude,
he has a
dude,
temper. He has a temper that
how?
well, he'll like
He
flip a
does. Yeah,
table.
I've seen that.
You know, he'll crash out too, but he gets his point
No,
across. He stays
he's a
logical.
bit like me.
Here's
Yeah.
He's a
here's
bit
what
like
you
me.
do. Here's the secret. You watch a lot of Daniel Green whenever he starts going live again.
Yeah,
But
maybe there's something to
you've
that.
seen Ogar, like God, he does so well. Is he bringing people from another app? Because his numbers are
He's just
astounding.
that good, dude. Like, I mean, I
I
remember I
know
first
he
saw him, he
is
had
good.
like barely 30 people in his live, and this was like a month ago, maybe. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna help this new creator take him under my
2,000
wing, and
follower.
yeah, almost three, maybe three by now. He had
But I mean,
over 300
like
people in his live today, and now
his
it's more like
live is out of control.
he's just a freight train. Well, he's
Dude,
consistent,
he is so
not
good. I
just in
mean,
how often and when he
he
goes
does
live,
get
but
mad
his
though. I've
his
seen it.
the way that he gives his arguments is like consistent every time. He's
No,
like
I
he
watched
treats
him. He
everybody
is
the same.
good. He's
He's
good,
very
but you're good
academic.
too. Like you're not that. That's not an area where you're lacking. So I mean, I watched that. I see how good he is, and I'm a clout chaser. So I guess the answer is I just need to get just as angry as he is.
Maybe you should get really formulaic with your arguments, because that's where he really shines.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not that much of a cloud chaser, but it was just a curiosity because I've seen these other folks doing these lives. I'm sure you have as well, and you have a pretty decent amount of patience there. Have you always been like that?
I mean, I was a teenager for a little while, but I was
Teenager.
I
You
was
said
kind of
20 when you started to.
I was kind of an emo for when I was a teenager, so maybe there's that. But I think
You
that I
said our
just
personality types are different,
Wait,
but I don't like
are you not emo anymore?
I mean, I don't consider myself to be like particularly emo.
He's an emo hipster.
Oh, he left when he heard that.
Oh shit! You scared him off. He was like, "Oh, I don't talk to people that aren't
It's
emos."
alright. He's just doing a
There.
bit.
He probably got. Well, good to talk to you, Lobes. Thanks for that, bro. I mean, great job on your show, dude.
Thanks, Ice
Nicely
Cream. I
done.
appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's good to see these guys out there. I mean, I think I'm kind of wavering a little. I have a lot of anger issues, and I don't like to see it. So I'm a little impressed with you guys. Your guys' patience, man. It's like watching somebody that is good at tennis or something. bat the ball back and forth. What you said, I think, is totally true, though. When you said, like, hey, what did you say? You said, well, when they start crashing out, they start saying all this stuff, I ain't got to worry about it because their arguments are going to stand on their own. If they're out of whack, then it's going to show up. Like, it's going to show for itself. I saw that at some point. I was like, yeah, why am I getting so angry? And I have to admit this. I think that part of it is that I feel vulnerable.
I think
I feel weak.
I think a good way that you maybe could help is if you, when you feel like you're going to get really angry and crash out, just think, I'm not going to let them do that to me. Because like they're the ones that are doing it to you. Like you're like you be kind of giving your emotional state over to their control.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't
it's funny
allow
that you
them
say
to do
that.
Like that's a W.
See, it's
for
funny
them.
that you say that. No, it's funny that you say that because I see exactly. I was thinking about this, and I'll tell you what. You probably know Deconstruction. You've seen him before, I'm sure.
Justin.
Justin, he is chill, and he loses his temper, but he doesn't ever like go ice cream. He doesn't like blow up or anything. But I was like, why is it that he is able to do that, or you or anybody else is able to do that? And I think it's because you guys have this intellectual separation between what the person is saying and what you think or what matters to you. Like basically, you're allowed. That person could just blow their rocket up over there. It doesn't have to mess with my field over here. Like I'm allowed to be a separate individual, which it sounds kind of funny. To be honest, it sounds a little bit like I'm not that intelligent. Like maybe I allow people. If somebody says something, my brain automatically goes, well, if a dude said it, it must be true. Now I have to go, shut up, that ain't true. Like you can't say that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how else to express this. I mean, the language is a little bizarre, but it's almost like I identify with what people are saying. And I don't know why that is. Now, you said that you were a pretty fundamentalist believer, and I'll just say this, that I was utterly fundamentalist. So if you imagine a young man like me, I went from being a young man indoctrinated into religion. I just literally believed what my parents were telling me, what the priest was telling me, unquestioningly. So for my whole life, and then I went into the military, as you can imagine. For my whole life, I was basically just told what to do and what to think. So for me, you see, like maybe that's
it's
my
like a violation. Yeah, like you were just taking advantage.
When I
of
figured it out,
belief system.
Yeah, but the buttons are still there. Like if they push the red button that says, "Hey, God exists," my brain like automatically goes like, "Oh, well, a guy said it, so it must be true." It's hard for me to. I mean, I do want to recognize why it is that I am so. It's kind of funny. I'm like emotionally tethered to what people say to me or something. And it's like,
well, it seems like you're doing a lot of introspection. I think that's good.
Yeah,
that can help.
good job.
I think that I need therapy. You are probably someone who could also use some therapy. I think I just need therapy for different reasons. I think we could both benefit from it.
I'll tell you what. I've always found that. I like stuff that I told myself I wouldn't like. I said I wouldn't like art. I love art. I'm an artist. I said I wouldn't like poetry. I love poetry. I say I don't want therapy. So maybe I just got to go look at some therapy.
It's worth a shot. I mean, I haven't done it, but like I know I need to.
All right, good to see you, Lobes. I'll be around.
Yeah, thanks, Ice Cream. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, thanks for chatting.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off, but sorry. Hey guys, guest box is open, so I'm ready and willing to have at least one more conversation, depending on how long it goes. If it's short, we can have multiple. Cyber, if you're still here, you're welcome to come back up. I know I said I'm not emo. I'm kinda emo. I just kind of want to like act my age in a way. I don't want to like try to intentionally fulfill an archetype. I feel like that's very teenager. And I feel like that's what a lot of like self-proclaimed teenage emos do. Of course, I didn't call myself an emo then. Other people did. Y'all should have seen me, man. It was every day, regardless of where I went, whether it was to the store or to church, I would be dressed up in all black, chains, spikes on my wrist, spikes around my neck, hair to my shoulders. Um, what else do I have going on? Sometimes a big belt buckle, steel-toed boots, just because they were more hardcore than not steel-toed boots, but it all had to be black. Sometimes even a trip trench coat with chains. I was more, I guess, goth than emo, but still. I was really into like metalcore more so than like whatever goths listen to. Hey, what's your name? Sultry Siren? Are you at least 18?
Hi. Yes, I'm 36. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. I hope you are too. What God do
Thank
you
you. I
believe in?
am. I don't anymore. I recently walked away from Christianity after 18 years.
How recent?
Father's Day. So very recent.
That
How
is
ironic,
very
right?
recent. No, but like that is kind of ironic. But how are you doing? Because that's very pivotal when somebody leaves
I
religion.
appreciate you asking. Honestly, it's been a long time coming, and I felt as if I needed to subject myself to believe that, what was promised to me and, wasn't really aligning with what prosperity gospel was, telling me.
Was that your
And
doctrine, prosperity gospel?
yeah, I was unfortunately non-denominational evangelical, and I had to deconstruct for at least a year from toxic indoctrination, political propaganda, very harmful teachings. And I'm not grieving, but I think I'm at a place right now where I am so much at peace, and something snapped in my body. Maybe it was just like, I don't know, a little bit of a rebellion. I don't know, where I felt like something that was holding me back. I just simply made a conscious decision that this religion was harming me more than it was giving me peace. So I walked away.
Mm. So what's interesting to me when you say that is it seems like you didn't even consider whether or not it was true with this. You were just thinking that this is not beneficial to me. Regardless of whether it's true, I'm going to abandon it. At least that's how it sounded. Because I didn't hear you address whether or not the claims of the faith were like accurate. It just seemed like it was something that you felt was harming you, or at least was not beneficial, and so you just abandoned it. But you also said that you're 36 and that you left Christianity after 18 years. So it sounds like you weren't even raised in it.
No, I was raised Muslim, and then I converted to Christianity when I was 19. And
Interesting.
yeah, my parents are from Iran, and when they migrated to the US, prior to the Persian Revolution, prior to the regime in the 70s, they became more westernized. So they really tried to enforce, the Muslim religion. But then the older I got, they recognized, you can follow any faith you want. But actually, it wasn't until I was in high school, I had some Christian friends. They invited me to church. And, back then, going to church was a lot better than staying at home.
Yeah, you were just kind of in the fold. I think that a lot of people find themselves in
Yeah.
Christianity by happenstance because their friends are a part of it. Like youth group is really ingenious for like just grafting teenagers into Christianity. Like they all bond over this thing and eventually the
Mhm.
trip comes around where there's a revival service and everybody cries by design. Like it's designed to make you cry and to feel like you need this thing. So you start making like
Absolutely.
life promises to God in these moments, and that's where they get you. It's like hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a classic case of a bait and switch. They're even the worship team knows they're manipulating people,
They know it. They
like
don't admit it to
especially,
themselves
yeah.
though, even.
No, they
Like,
don't admit it, but I
but they,
think
but
what's
like,
really
but
sad.
they know deep down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did give, somewhat of a generic reasoning as to why I left. The religion was harming me, and it was causing me lots of anxiety, and I didn't like the patriarchal, perspective of it. I dedicated my whole life to God. I dedicated my entire life, to praying. I was a good little Christian, and I prayed, I fasted, I read my word, and I surrendered. All those things that you need to do to get blessed, right? But I recognize all throughout my years of living, I was suffering more than I was being blessed. I was suffering with my, depression,
Making
anxiety, suicidal
sacrifices.
thoughts.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
to like change your priorities to one of the things that's really damaging for people's mental health and Christianity specifically is that you're supposed to put yourself last. Like not even just after God, like putting God before you, like that's obviously a given. But God should have basically an infinite number of value points or whatever, more so
Mhm.
than the next valuable person in your life. And it's not you still, it's your spouse. At least this is the doctrine that I was following when I was in it. It was God,
Mhm.
then after like an infinite number of value points, you get to your spouse. Then after that, it's your children. Then after that, it's like the rest of your family, um, then your friends, then literally everybody else, including the worst of the worst possible people. Then at the very bottom is finally you. Animals aren't anywhere on this because they don't fucking matter in Christianity.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, like you're supposed to think of yourself as the least of these and put everybody before yourself, a harmful selflessness that I think can actually even damage the people around you if you take it to its logical conclusion or serious about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's even if you don't, if you just think you're supposed to and you don't, this is a psychological problem too because you still have this value issue where you don't value yourself as much as you ought to. You think that you have like this problem of sin and you're so lowly and you need a savior or else you're literally deserving of the worst possible punishment that you could even fathom. In fact, it transcends your understanding. It's so bad.
Mhm.
Um, but when you don't follow this hierarchy that you're supposed to, it's like now you will feel guilty on top of that, and you're doing this constant apologizing thing. Like I
Mhm.
was always constantly apologizing for thought crime, constantly. It was maddening, and
Mhm.
I couldn't say that it was maddening because that's like blasphemous. Like, are you complaining about the state of affairs, Lobes? Like this is good. Like you don't like it? Yes, you do. You need to like it. You have to like it. It's just like constantly brainwashing myself to make sure that I like the fact that my mind is being policed and essentially puppeteered by something that I eventually discovered was not even there in the first place. Very,
Right.
very like traumatic to, you don't even realize how traumatic it is while you're in it because you're not allowed, you don't allow yourself to question it. You don't allow yourself um, to like view the harm as harm, even if you think that you don't like it. Um, you have to tell yourself that it's ultimately good somehow because it's God. Like, and you cannot say that God is anything less than the best thing that's ever existed.
Exactly that. I concur with everything that you just stated. And I think what's really sad is, this patriarchal system is brainwashing people into thinking that, God is good, when really in reality, you have, over 60 something books in the Bible that's basically telling you that this is all bullshit. Because what they're trying to do is make you feel small, especially with women. Our worth is determined on whether if we're going to be picked or breeding babies, be fruitful and multiply. But I always say, yeah, multiply in orgasms. And then I would get in trouble for having a, for having a sense of humor. I felt like I
Right.
couldn't be myself. I felt like it was very much image management. I had a problem with the fact that so many women were shaming, victims of abuse, and I think that goes dismissed
Yeah.
and they mock like religious trauma, and then they say, oh my God, you're not going to church because of church hurt. I'm like, wait a second. Church hurt is when somebody is rude to you and you don't go back to that church, but systemic abuse is almost so silent to the point that you don't even recognize you're being abused until you leave after the fact. And so I think what's really sad is there are people who don't even understand what it's like to have a relationship with a deity, right? And so I don't see Buddhists or Jewish people or Muslims attacking other people. It's always the Christians and the Catholics. And I recognize that they want control. They want control over women's bodies. They want control over our autonomy. They want control of our own agency. It's so toxic. And I can't really fathom nor even comprehend that some of the stories in the Bible are just so contradictory, because how is it in the Old Testament? It's the classic question is, why does God allow free will? But I feel like it's such a cop-out excuse as to why you can treat people like absolute garbage, but then hide behind God's name. And and then he forgives you regardless because he has grace for you. And that's not true at all. And so, if something is challenging you, God is testing you. If something good happens, praise be to God. But you're taught
all the
like,
credit, none of the blame. Yeah.
yeah, seriously. And it made me sad because, I was promised something and I never got it, right? But that goes for multiple prayers throughout my life. And then I would see the prayers of my mother and she's not even of the faith. And I'm like, are you even real? Like, I was so consumed in recognizing that maybe the Christian faith has actually pulled me back. Like, it actually prevented me from living my life the way that I wanted. Like, experiencing sex. Yeah, experiencing sex the way that I wanted. Yeah, experiencing sex and recognizing that purity culture, it shames people into thinking that something that is so natural, it shames people into thinking like that you're a schmore.
You're chewed gum, or
Yeah,
you're using tape. The disgusting metaphors that they use to describe people, usually women, they are like used towards. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like, especially like you were talking about the patriarchal thing. The fact that these types of terms and special rules are placed onto women specifically when neither party is supposed to be doing the premarital sex thing or sleeping with multiple people. It's supposed to be like just one, allegedly it's supposed to be like one man and one woman in holy matrimony, and they only ever have sex with each other. But if a guy has sex outside of wedlock or before he's married or something, it's something that he's not supposed to do, sure. But then if a woman does it, it's like it should be the same thing. She wasn't supposed to do it, but there's a much bigger deal about it. They say that she's chewed gum. They say that she's used tape. Nobody wants a piece of gum that's been just chewed around, spat into multiple mouths. It's like, why is this made to seem so much more disgusting when
Right.
it's from women? It should go both ways, equally. But the thing is, the religion was made by men, not by women. Women had influence here and there throughout it, but it was predominantly made by men. Men had the power. So they're going to be the ones who are going to say that, like, what the rules are ultimately. And this even goes to show in the Bible when kings such as David, a man after God's own heart, had hundreds of wives.
Oh
And these
yeah,
are
Son King
wives that
Solomon.
are right, and Solomon. And these are wives that are in the book canon. It says that God gave them those wives. So if men can have multiple wives and women cannot have multiple husbands, there's already an imbalance.
hmm
it's just ridiculous, and this flies in the face of everything that a modern Christian would tell you about what marriage is supposed to be too. Like they don't want to look at
No,
this
I
like
agree.
this is like, oh, David's sin, he wasn't perfect. It's like, but God literally gave him these wives. So yeah, he's not in sin when he has multiple wives. God gave him the
And
wives.
exactly that. And King Xerxes in the book of Esther, King Xerxes left his actual wife for Esther.
What a guy.
What a guy, right? And I'm Persian, and that's not how we roll. But no, I've been subjected to believe that, prosperity gospel has really harmed people, especially myself. And that's not really, that's one of the reasons as to why I left, because it's systemic abuse and people don't actually validate your feelings. They gaslight you into thinking that, well, bad things are happening to you because you don't trust God. You're
It's
not
always your
surrendering.
fault, yeah.
It's always your
Always your
fucking
fault.
fault. It's always your fault. And it's
Yeah.
like,
God will do what you ask him to do, or some excuse. Like, if he answers your prayers, like that proves it right there. They say God doesn't answer prayer. He just answered this prayer. It's like, yeah, I asked for like I prayed 10 million prayers and he answered one of them. It's like, well, when you asked for those prayers, you didn't have enough faith. Or when you asked for this prayer, like, that's just not, God doesn't work. God's not a genie. He does whatever you ask, but he's not going to do whatever you ask. What the fuck?
exactly. And you know what? Pastors do not give a shit about you unless you are wealthy. Pastors do not give a shit about you because I'm sure a lot of people know this. There are mega churches out there where the pastors are making more, way more than a doctor, right? And they're giving unsolicited medical advice and they are denying the existence of mental health. That is disgusting and theologically twisted and dangerous. How are you a pastor and you are constantly saying, well, we deny schizophrenia in the mighty name of Jesus. We rebuke it. This is a chemical imbalance where you need medication. You need therapy. You need psychiatry help.
Yeah.
And these people truly believe that God is the actual healer. And I'm like, this is disgustingly gross.
They think
Like,
that science is something that is like another religion and not a methodology of discovery.
right.
This is shit that's based on scientific inquiry and understanding after centuries of trial and error. This is well-established shit that when we say that something is scientifically founded, it actually means something. To say that it's anything other than what is said that it is conspiracy. And sure, like maybe the science isn't perfect because science does improve, science does change, but it's always improved upon by newer, better science.
Yes,
So to say that
absolutely.
somebody who is schizophrenic and is genuinely being aided by medication should stop their medication and start pretending like they're better or something. This is actual harm. This is actually harming the person with the schizophrenia and the people
Mhm.
in their lives when they all could
Mhm.
just be relying on what we can at least demonstrate to be true with the resources that we have and use that to leverage um, a solution of sorts, right? Or
Exactly
at
that.
least a treatment.
Yes, exactly that. And I think what I found, I found myself so dumbfounded whenever there was a guest or a pastor that always had this so-called prophetic word regarding people with disabilities. And it seems as if they don't treat people with disabilities, physical at least, like a normal person. And they said, well, God wants to heal you. And I would look at them and I would say, what a fucking insult. What do you mean? This is completely out of their control. And you're seeing them as a project rather than a person. And they said, well, I prayed for this person and they walked out of a wheelchair. And I'm like, more than
shouldn't have
likely
done
they
that.
want, right. And I'm like, well, more than likely they either faked it or you are full of shit, because that just doesn't happen. And they said,
There
well,
are
God is
times,
able.
yeah, like there are
Mhm.
times this like faith healing shit is an actual known scam that organizations put on. Not all of them, but many of them, and the biggest ones absolutely are. Where they've got wheelchairs ready and they have actors ready and they have people who pay. They go to of course they go to like low income areas where people are desperate, and they'll give them everything that they have because their faith is so strong. They pump them up, they get them to donate, they take advantage of these people. Then they get somebody who maybe actually has a problem with their legs. Doctor says I shouldn't walk on these legs, at least until they're healed, or maybe it's a bad idea to walk on them ever again. But by the power of the Holy Spirit, you will walk. And he stands up and he's pumped with adrenaline. You know, everybody's watching, hundreds or maybe thousands of people are watching, and to not even try would be like you're ruining the show. So you've got this social pressure. You stand up
Mhm.
and you start walking around. Um, it has been documented where something like this has happened, and people will have catastrophic effects later on after that day with if it's like if it's somebody who's not supposed to be walking, if they're on a bad leg, their condition multiplies in severity because of
Mhm.
this, because they were coerced and tricked into putting weight on a leg that they shouldn't be putting weight on.
Exactly that.
It's horrible. It's just, actually I recommend watching the Mindshift podcast. I believe it's episode 2. He has Holy Kool-Aid on with him. This is like, I think it's measured in hours. I don't know if it's 1 hour or if it's like 2 or what, but it's not too terribly long as far as podcasts go. And this is the topic that they're covering.
Is it
Holy,
on? Is it
it's on.
on
You can
YouTube?
find it. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. I think it's probably wherever podcasts are, but I don't want to say that for sure. But I watched it on YouTube.
Mhm.
The Mindshift podcast.
The Mindshift podcast. I'll take a
Yeah.
look into it. Thank you.
Yeah, I love his channel, Mindshift. Brandon is great. He's one of the reasons why I wanted to start making content like this and streaming and stuff. That and like
I'm
Atheist Experience and
glad.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad. And, this is a beautiful journey that I'm on. I don't really have the fear of hell. I think I grieved for quite a bit, even when I was still in the faith. And I'm definitely not going to judge myself for making the perfect decision for me. And since then, all my anxiety, all my depression, since then have improved. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have my ups and downs because, healing isn't linear. But I am going into therapy for deconstruction and kind of just talk about what we just did. And, I really commend people who do have the strength to walk away, especially from a very narcissistic so-called God where everything is about him, But I'm like, well, isn't that the whole point of a relationship? Is that it's about your life too?
Right, it's
And they
about
say,
both
no,
of
it's
you.
all about him. Yeah, it's about both of you.
But you
And I'm
can't
like,
even have a relationship with something like a God, and God couldn't possibly be stimulated from a relationship with us. Like we could have a
mhm.
more meaningful relationship with an ant than God could have with us.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
Yeah,
any logical
absolutely.
sense. Um,
hmm
yeah, so man, it is getting quite late. I think there's no opposition that's requesting. This has been a fantastic conversation. You should send. It's not letting me like follow you from here for some reason. Send a comment and I'll give you a follow. I need to get my followers back up to 666.
I'll send you a comment. Hold on.
Yeah, so I'll follow you. Oh, looks like I'm
Thank
your
you.
300th follower. That's cool.
Nice. Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. I really enjoyed speaking with you, and thank you for making it very comfortable for me, especially when this is a new journey of mine. So thank you.
I think it's very important to acknowledge the different struggles that people go through when they deconstruct from a religion. Especially you've done it with 2, so I mean, I don't know what it's like to go through that. I mean, going through it once is already it's enough to make me stream about it in my 30s, right? When it happened in my early 20s. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's very
If I
life
have any
altering.
questions, can I be able to message you?
Yeah, sure. And I have a Discord server as well. If you want to join that, you can like drop something in one of the channels or friend me on there and send me a DM on there or whatever. The link
Okay.
to it is in my bio, so you should be able to use that link to get to it, and you'll be welcome to
Awesome.
come in there.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were Sultry Siren. Yeah, thank you, Sultry Siren, for coming
Correct.
up and sharing
Yeah,
your
of
story with
course.
us. Very
Yeah,
special.
thank you for having me.
You have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Now it was pretty late and I didn't have any ops, so I felt it uh totally acceptable to entertain the deconstruction conversation, especially when I think that that's like the most important conversation that you can have. You got to check in on people who are dealing with that, because if I know from my own experience, when you go through that, you get an identity crisis, you get an existential crisis, you start to wonder whether or not life is even worth living, and we got to check in on these people. You know, it, it's so ingrained in people's psyche, in their values, in the meaning of life, that when they lose that, they've potentially lost everything they care about. I remember um I basically vilified this life. I had like demonized it. This life is but filthy rags. It's useless, worthless. It's like not worth anything except to get to the eternity that is to come. The eternity is the only life that matters. This one is worthless. Then to have the realization that the only one that matters doesn't even exist, and the one that is worthless is the only one that you get, you're left questioning whether or not you should even live it. We really have to check on people who are leaving religion. I can't believe I forgot to say this, but if you're still in here, Sultry, and to anybody else who's still, we still got some people in here, who's listening, check out Recovering from Religion. They're a nonprofit organization. They do like uh, groups, like small groups, and they share stories and they help each other heal from leaving religion. They also do a live stream on TikTok once a month. I've co-hosted it twice. Not this past month, but I think the 2 months before that, I was a co-host on their live stream on TikTok. Usually it's Flabbergasted is the main host, and then he's got Taylor, the Skeptical Heretic is her username. She's a pretty well-known person here on TikTok and YouTube. They're the usual hosts, and I got to host that with them. But it's a calm discussion. They're unpacking ideas about the ramifications of being in the faith and what it means to leave it, and the potential problems that you could run into with family or with your sense of self or your sense of worth. And it's really important to unpack that with people. So it's not a debate, and you don't even need to be like an atheist or a former believer to go up. As long as you want to unpack the belief and the ramifications of the belief in an honest, conversational way, Recovering from Religion is for you. If you are a Christian and you want to have a conversation, an honest conversation about the ramifications of faith and something that you might be struggling with, Recovering from Religion will have that for you. You are still welcome at Recovering from Religion. I recommend everybody follow it. And that being said, we should go ahead and do a raid. I don't have many viewers left in here, but whoever I have left, I want to send over somewhere. You know what? Ice Cream came up earlier. Why don't we send everybody over to Ice Cream? I think that's fair, you know? Yeah. Why don't we all go raid Ice Cream? So Try to if you were here for the conversation with him, remember he's trying to not be a hothead anymore. I guess. Tell him to be ice cream and be like cool off. Yeah, just be in the comments and help him out. He's doing good work. He's kicking ass. He just doesn't like his temper. Anyways, I'll see you guys over at ice cream. Have a good night.